So here I have a DJ Bikes, and it's a fat bike mid-drive. So there's the Bafang mid-drive. The rear axle, or the rear hub, was broken on the original wheel. This is a different wheel, and the axle was all messed up on it. This axle was wrong. That axle might have worked with the original wheel and hub because this is a sealed, or this is a loose ball bearing axle, just like the front, cup and cone. So I have to put this wheel on the back, but this wheel didn't have an axle. It has sealed bearings, and this has 170 millimeter spacing, not 175. It has a really rare 170 size. So I ended up drawing up an axle and then getting someone in China to make it. It was about 70, I think it was $60 US shipped to Canada, made, shipped. It took a week for them to make it, then 2 weeks to ship. So I put a shoulder in the middle to butt up against the inner bearing race. So that's about, I think, 12 millimeters diameter, maybe 13. And this, the part where the bearing slides onto, is it's a 10 millimeter axle, 10 millimeter diameter, but I got a machine to 9.875 millimeters, I think. I can double check that. So it slides into the 10 millimeter bearing. And then I put a M10 by 1 threads on the end. So one of these nuts threads on, or both of them on each side, you know. So gonna put the short end in, and it fits perfect, just like that. And then I'm gonna press this bearing in, back in. I somehow got it without ruining it. Just gonna press that in, and that's how it looks. And then I'm gonna put the freewheel on. So the price I paid was $64 for this axle with shipping, and that's in US dollar. Here's the drawing. I will also put in the description the link to the seller that will do custom axles or custom lathe work. Because unless you have the exact same setup as me for bike and rear wheel, this axle will not work for you. You have to have pretty much the exact same setup. So as you can see, total length to 20 millimeter. We got that centerpiece, and then we got the ends that are 9.975 millimeter diameter. So I'm gonna install it over here, and I'm gonna see if it works. So I pressed the bearing in here with a socket, and it seems like I got the axle perfect at the 108 millimeter internal part there, because the axle doesn't slide side to side in the hub, which is good. So that you know the inner races are being pressed up against that part of the axle. So I think I should have made the axle another 10 millimeters, 15 millimeters longer on each end. But I think we're good here, so I'm gonna try and put it on the bike. So I also ordered this axle, and the reason I ordered it is because it came with these spacers. Also, I was gonna try this and cut this down and put that in there, and that might all worked. Would definitely be a cheaper way, but I already had this custom axle in order, and I thought the custom axle would be a better idea. And so these spacers, you need them here because this is where the freewheel goes, and you need to space out the correct 170 millimeter. So this fits almost perfect. I think I'm gonna put one washer on the right side here. There's a bit of a gap there on the left side, maybe like 3 millimeters. See that gap? I just pull it over to the left. So I need to fill that gap still, but you really don't have to fill that gap. You could just tighten the bolts down and it'll squish the frame a bit. but I want a bigger washer on the end here to butt up against the frame. I don't want that small sleeve getting jammed into the frame there and maybe cutting into the soft aluminum. So there, I got this washer on the end here. It's about all I need. Should be perfect now. This might look a bit like a Mickey Mouse repair, but it's actually pretty good. Especially this is like a 4130 chromoly axle. And it is custom to fit this perfectly, or almost perfectly. And I mean, a whole new wheel with that spacing, I could barely even find one with 170 millimeter spacing. So I think I found one, it might have been like $600. So not spending that. And without this wheel, this whole e-bike is a write-off, and it's only good for parts. Because you can't put a normal 26-inch wheel. You can't do much with it other than fix this. So with this axle, I don't have much protrusion here for the nut, but I found a nut. They'll fit it. I did order 2 of these, but the guys only sent me 1, so that was kind of annoying. So you can see here from the old wheel, the original wheel where the axle messed up on and he rode it for a bit. It obviously did some damage here, so I'm going to clean this up just a bit with a die grinder, and I'm also going to take some metal off in here because the axle isn't fully seating in there, so we want a good full seat and not on an angle. I'm already having problems with the tire being too close over here, which is weird though. Again, this is not original to this bike, so the spacing on this was probably 135 or something weird. Well, 135 isn't weird, but weird for this bike. So I have the spacers put here, these 2 spacers, and that affects the disc distance from the frame, which you got a bit of play with a caliper. What, 5 millimeters, 8 millimeters? I don't know, hard to say. But it's actually in the correct place, but the tire's really close here. So I might have to dish the wheel to the right. Again, there's not too much I can do. I can't go too far because, you know, spoke lengths and whatever only let me go so far. So I'll keep going and see what I can do. So here I got the disc, the axle in there. I did something kind of weird, but I made it work. Here I put the dust cap spacer on the outside and then the other spacer on the inside, so I wouldn't have to put a washer between that spacer and the frame. So now dust can get in, but whatever, at least it's not messing up the frame. This is kind of crappy. I should have made the axle at least another 10 millimeters longer on this side. This side's good. But I only got like half a nut of thread engagement there, but it seems tight. The axle's really hard and it didn't strip the threads, so that's good. And there's no washer on the back of this, which kind of sucks too. I'd like one, but whatever. It's on here really nice, and over here it's pretty tight, but not insane. So I got the brake set up, and this is the brake decides everything. The brake decides the spacing. I couldn't look at the clearance I have here on the tire from the frame. It's not too bad. Down here it's kind of not great, but it's not rubbing on the frame. But on the other side, I have way more clearance, so this bike might track kind of funny going down the road because it's close on that side and far on that side. We'll see. Whatever. It's better than it not working at all. As I said, this wheel isn't original, so kind of had to make it fit. This space right here is pretty funny. Although it is nice because now you can put like an 8-speed freewheel on it and not have to worry about it bumping up against the frame. This derailleur does have enough throw to go all the way to the smallest one. Not that they ever use the smallest one because it's an e-bike and you go really fast. So the brake's set up, only rubbing a little bit. Once it breaks in, or I could back off this inner pad and it will not rub. But yeah, that works well. I'm gonna hook that up. Gonna get the chain on, gonna get the shifter on. I don't have the shifter yet, but I'll get it on eventually. I did order some other new parts for this. I ordered a new sensor because the arm's broken here. It was really cheap. I'll put all the links to the parts in the description. I ordered a new throttle. It used to be it was a broken, it was a thumb throttle. Here it is over here. But it was broken. It had a screw as the thumb push. Here's the old buttons and screen. The back of the screen was all broken off. So I got a new screen too, a little guy. It's pretty cool. Turn it on. So that's the electric part working. I'll get that all set up. I'll get the chain on, and then I'll take it for a ride and see if it works. So it's on there. Everything seems to be working on the stand just fine. So I'm gonna take it out for a test drive. Hopefully I'm all right. No shifter yet. That's the only thing that's missing. I end up revising this a third time. The spacer's there. So now I have the dust cover on the inside where it's supposed to be. And I have 2 washers. And that's the best I could do. I just wanted a bit more bite on this nut, but still not much. But either way, it's clearing the frame just barely, but enough. Even if mud gets in there, it won't really rub. Here's this side. Again, this is kind of a weird repair. You'll probably never have to do this, and any advice in this video is probably garbage because you won't have the exact same situation as I. So I'm out riding it. It's working pretty well. I get Air 21 after about 2 minutes of riding because the speed sensor isn't hooked up because I haven't got my new one yet. So yeah, pretty good fix. Pretty happy with it. Anyways, that's it. Thanks for watching.